Hey, you win some and sometimes you lose 9. It wasn't the best week, but we're ready, so let's get right into it here on Mike and the Feather. Hey, so we just finished up week 11, and it was one of those stupid weeks. We admit we didn't have a great week. A lot of stupid half-point yips. Sometimes the early lines benefit you, sometimes they bite you. Things shifted depending on when you got in there. Hopefully you followed some of the advice, but hopefully those spreads moved in that half a point or a point in your favor by the time you bet. So last week was 6-9 overall, just 1-3 on Take It to the Bank. Anything you want to throw in about last week, or are you ready to move on?
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. I mean, there was a lot of, like I said, close games. I mean, the Packers fell short by half point, the Ravens by 1 point, the Rams by half a point for us. Teams that all won those games. Atlanta had that game till the end. They gave it away. Detroit, I don't even want to know what's going on with Detroit. I mean, 0-5 on fourth down, passed up on at least 3 field goals. They lose by 7, and they're plus 2.5. So it was just that kind of a week, and moving on, turning the page, bigger and better things.
Well, let's kick it off on Thursday Night Football with the Buffalo Bills being 4.5-point favorites on the road at the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football. A lot of people are lobbying to eliminate. I think John Gruden said he thinks Thursday Night Football should be eliminated because of a short week, but this short week could help the Bills because C.J. Stroud might not be ready, being in concussion protocol. We'll have to see on a short week if he will be ready to play. I'm thinking it's not going to happen. Although Davis Mills has been serviceable and done a good job, and that defense continues to be really good as they fell short covering for us as well, winning by, I think, 4. But they're looking good. They got a win against a pretty poor team. But this week against the Bills is going to be a different story. Keon Coleman should be back. He was a healthy scratch this last week because he basically missed a team meeting, I believe, or something to that effect. So they sat him down. Josh Allen was Superman, truly Superman. 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing.
He had the most fantasy points of any player this season so far.
Yeah, monster week.
We had him on our team, so that's all I want to say.
And James Cook, he's been kind of taking the last couple weeks off, so they're going to need him this week because this defense for the Texans are savage. And I think Josh Allen in this offense is going to keep firing. The defense, I do question. They are, teams are running on them pretty well. I do not know if Marks is going to, Woody Marks is going to be up for the challenge. Nick Chubb has taken a backseat to him. He's not doing much anymore. Nico Collins had a great game last week. He's a stud by far. This team is glad to have him back and healthy. It's going to be a battle, but 4.5 points seems pretty easy to me at this point. Thursday night, short week. Yes, they're on the road. But I think in Houston, Josh Allen, James Cook, the dynamic duel, they're going to get it done. Take the Bills minus 4.5. Boom.
All right. Hey, we're done with the overseas games. This is nice. Back to somewhat normal 10 a.m. West Coast start times. And let's start off. Steelers on the road at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are good. The Bears may not still suck this season. Like after starting 0-2. 0-2. Just ran off 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7.
Sitting 7-3.
Yeah.
First place in the division.
And Steelers, up and down, questionable with Aaron Rodgers getting partially injured this weekend. We'll see. Right now on Tuesday, it is minus 2.5 Chicago Bears at home.
So follow some of the injuries, towards the end of the week, see where they sit. If you like the Bears in this one, right now you're going to want to probably hop on them at 2.5 because that line could change. If they announce Aaron Rodgers is out. And then you got Jaylen Warren, their outstanding running back who got banged up. But supposedly he said he's fine. You never know. Players always say they're good to go. But, they're kind of a glass half full as far as that goes. Jaylen Warren went out. He should play, but he is a question mark. You got to watch this. So now you're dealing with your top running back and QB1. That brings in Mason Rudolph. Now, he did get the victory, okay? He held on and they got the victory. Still looking for production. DK Metcalf is not doing a whole lot. They don't have a wide receiver, too, that's viable. Kelvin Austin, the second, or whatever, the third. He's not doing much at all. This defense is kind of mediocre. So right now the Steelers are in a really tough spot because Baltimore, here they are, just one game back, and Baltimore has to play Pittsburgh twice. I think the clock is striking midnight on this Steeler team, at least for this week, because I think that Aaron Rodgers probably is not going to go. But, and he does own the Bears. We know he's the Chicago Bears daddy. And if daddy's not playing, it's going to be a problem. On the other side of the ball, Caleb Williams, he's looking good. This running game, this Bears team, I don't know. They're digging deep. They're finding ways to get wins. They're squeaking out last-second field goals against Minnesota. They had Minnesota in the ropes the whole game. J.J. McCarthy looked terrible. And then he all of a sudden put a drive together, took the lead late. And what happens? The Bears find a way to make a nice kick return, set up a field goal, winner, chicken dinner. I'm not sure the Bears are for real yet, but their last 7 games, this is one of the 2 that they're hoping to definitely pull out, especially with the absence of Aaron Rodgers. We're going to take the Chicago Bears to get it done with this team firing on all cylinders and finding ways to win games, ugly or not. Take it to the bank. Absolutely. I love this pick, -2.5. Get it early before it goes up because it's going to probably bounce up 3+ points by the weekend. Take the Bears -2.5. Boom.
Jets on the road at the Ravens, -13 in favor of the Ravens. Is there a lot to look at in this game, or is this that's a big spread though still? Because now what the Jets randomly return to special teams plays again.
You got Tyrod Taylor getting a start. Justin Fields on the bench again. His quarterback days might be over after this year for sure as a starter. He might get a backup job somewhere and be serviceable, maybe a gadget guy, but it appears this experiment's not going well. You're working with a team that doesn't have any receivers. No Garrett Wilson. I mean, Breece Hall, he's not happy there, and he's not doing much either. This Jets team is a train wreck. The defense was mediocre. They put up a fight a little bit against New England, but all around they look terrible. On the other side of the ball, you're looking at a situation where Baltimore trending upward. I mean, they had their problems with Cleveland, though. I mean, it took them, a Shedeur Sanders coming in the game, and basically giving up a 16-10 lead. And like I said, as far as Shedeur Sanders goes, he was not prepared. The coaches, I'm not a believer in him. I'm not a supporter of him. I don't like his attitude. But in the end, the Cleveland Browns coaching staff failed him. He didn't have any snaps at all with the first team. Very little preparation, and he just got thrown into the fire when Dylan Gabriel had concussion. So what do you expect? Baltimore, it took them a little bit to put them away, but they did put them away. They're at home now. Derrick Henry, this offense, Lamar Jackson, I think they're going to keep their run going. It's a lot of points, 13 points, but at home against the Jets, it's not enough. Take the Ravens, -13 to get it done and cover. Boom.
I might actually see that one moving up to -13.5, -14. I feel like money is going to come in on that side just because, like you said, with Justin Fields sitting down, that show just keeps getting worse and worse in New Jersey.
Yep.
New York, but technically New Jersey. Next up, speaking of things playing in New Jersey that suck, the New York Giants are on the road against the Detroit Lions. Lions just kind of had their hands full, but they are 10.5 points favorites against my G-Men with probably Jameis Winston still starting.
Yeah, it's going to depend.
He's kind of a blender too because Jackson Dart's been good, but do you keep putting him at?
Well, Jackson Dart's going to play if he's cleared.
Yeah.
If he clears protocol, but I don't know if he will. But he's definitely. It's going to be Jameis Winston ahead of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's not playing. We got to address quickly. My Packers beat your Giants.
Yeah. For a while, you didn't think they were going to.
No, I always had faith. I had faith, Michael. But they beat them. We don't need to talk about it anymore. I know it's cuts deep.
Yeah, well, so that's 1 out of 3 since the time we've been doing this podcast.
Hey, go Pack, go. Anyway, now, Tyrone Tracy Jr., he was a bright spot. His running game looked really good. He was the one offensive weapon on that team. Famous Jameis Winston looked all right. I mean, he did some good things, but then he also took some rough sacks. And, hey, Micah Parsons got after him. I think Jackson Dart's going to play. We'll see, but I think that's going to happen. Detroit on the other side, Detroit's offense looked horrendous. 0 for 5 on fourth down attempts, which is crazy.
For Detroit, they started the trend now of
Yeah,
fourth down is another down.
Detroit
go
just
for
went
it.
for it every single time, but they give like 3 field goals at least. I mean, you got to points are a premium. I mean, at some point these coaches are out coaching themselves. Jahmyr Gibbs looked good. He was running pretty well. Jared Goff was off.
That rhymes.
Jared Goff was off. But I'll give it to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's defense looked really good. Obviously, they looked good against Green Bay, so maybe they're legit. Maybe their defense has turned a quarter. They made some, a couple guys that they added to the roster before the trade deadline to help their defense, and it's looking like it could be working. I mean, this is going to be an interesting game because Detroit, when they come off of a loss, usually they boom and they really crush it. And in this case, they need it because right now they're staring down third place in the division. No one saw that coming. And this is a must-win at home. And this team is going to be, it's a better team at home by far. Jared Goff, we all know he's not as good on the road, especially outdoors. At home, he's a different team. This offense is different. And hopefully Dan Campbell learns from, hey, take some points once in a while. Points are a premium. But in this case, it won't make a difference because it's the New York Giants. I mean, it's very simple. The Giants, 10.5 points is not enough. This Giants team is going to face the wrath of this Dan Campbell offense that is going to run up the score and put as many points on the board as they can because they are not feeling good about last week and they want to get back on track. Take the Lions minus 10.5 to cover.
And Giants can stay with the second draft pick for next year. I'm fine with that. Next up.
Win-win for you.
Next up. This is one we talked about briefly before we started recording. That is a little bit of an interesting pick. It's the New England Patriots, the now number 1 seed. Back, the evil empire has returned. The Death Star is operational. They are 8.5 point favorites on the road against the Bengals, who now, just with Spitgate 2025, have now lost another player on the heels of possibly Joe Burrow having a chance to play, but Flacco's won 1 game for them since he's come back, since he started for them.
Yeah.
What do the Bengals want to do here?
First of all, Drake May is looking really good. I mean, he's pretty much a favorite for MVP at this point. You got Ramondre Stevenson, who was out, no problem. We got to see Travion Henderson ball out. The guy was a beast. He put up a ton of points, and that was huge for him and the confidence of this, running game for New England. Stephon Diggs even balled out. This team is looking good, but their defense, Mike Vrabel is an absolute beast of a coach. Tennessee, once again, having lots of regret when they fired him. And now he's come back home, the prodigal son, and he is coaching the heck out of this team. And yes, you got the Dave Portnoys of the world and everyone saying they're back on top again. And everyone else is just like, it can't be happening. We will see. First of all, I don't think Joe Burrow comes back because I don't think the Bengals may not be in position to even win enough games to make it make sense for him to come back. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, I saw a post the other day. Is it possible that the Bengals deal Joe Burrow to the Steelers if Aaron Rodgers is down and he could actually end up playing for all the teams within his division? Is that conceivable? I mean, do they really want to go forward with Mason Rudolph for the next 4 or 5 weeks if that comes down to it? I don't think that that's going to happen, but this Bengals team at home, 8.5 points, it seems like a lot to me. I mean, I get the Patriots are playing great, but and obviously having no Jamar Chase because of Spitgate, where he goes and he gets himself suspended for a game, costs himself over $500,000. That's an expensive price to pay for sure, but he deserves every bit because he lied too. It's like, own it, be a man and own it. But he didn't own it. He decided to lie about it. They should suspend him 2 games. But this team at home, 8.5 points. It's still the NFL. They're still professionals. And to be honest, the Patriots are looking great, but they showed some vulnerability a little bit against the Jets. I think that this, it's a game maybe to stay away from, but ultimately, if I'm going to lean one way or another, I'm going to take the 8.5 points for the home dog because I think it's too many points. I don't have any misconceptions that the Bengals are most likely going to win this game. I don't think that that's the case. I think New England gets the win, but I think the Bengals get the cover plus 8.5.
And then, welcome back to Earth, Sam Darnold. Maybe. We had a interesting event this weekend where he looked like playoff Sam Darnold. Playoff ready Sam Darnold. So this leads us to the Seattle Seahawks being on the road against now the opposite thing is Tennessee Titans. So you would think might be a gimme. And speaking of gimme, Seahawks are giving up 13.5 points, minus 13.5 on the road against the lowly Titans. Biggest spread of the week right now.
Yeah, Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions, had a brutal game. Their defense still kept them in the game, and all the way up until the end, Seattle had a chance. Jackson Smith and Jigba, still the bright spot. Kenneth Walker balled out, actually had a big game as well. So that's a good thing. But Sam Darnold was just throwing picks, just getting pounded. Not great. He looked like playoff Sam Darnold, or New York Jets Sam Darnold, or Carolina Panthers Sam Darnold. He sure didn't look like Minnesota Sam Darnold. Now he's going up against Tennessee, which Tennessee kind of held their own last week against Houston. The Seattle team has a great defense, and they have a really good offense. But for some reason, they struggled really bad last week, and Sam Darnold was to blame. Now you're coming into a situation where 13.5 point favorites on the road.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and once again, I'm going to go with the home dog. Tennessee doesn't have a whole lot to go with. Cam Ward, this team is struggling. It looks like Calvin Ridley got banged up again with an ankle sprain. But 13.5 points on the road, I'm going to take the home dog in those points. And one way or another, Tennessee will backdoor. They're not going to win the game, but Tennessee will backdoor and keep it within 13.5.
All right, of all the big games this week, the next two, buckle up because he's going to have some stuff to say on these next ones. Minnesota Vikings on the road at Green Bay. Go. Oh, I should probably say the spread. Spread is minus 6.5 Green Bay.
Green Bay 6.5. Micah Parsons had a monster game. I mean, thank you, Micah Parsons, for really helping this Green Bay Packer team close out the game at the end, get the W. Still not happy. I'm not happy that Josh Jacobs went out with an injury. He's questionable coming into this week. I'm not happy that there was too many dropped balls. Romeo Doubs is dropping balls. It was horrendous how many balls were dropped. They got to help Jordan Love a little more. Jordan Love was clutch. Anyone that pissed all over Jordan Love this year saying he's not the guy, watch the tape back and these great passes he made under tough spots. It's amazing when he actually has a few seconds to pass and they're not on him right away. He can actually make clutch plays. And he made clutch plays over and over and over again. This defense did well, and they're going to continue to do well. And I think the offense is going to come along as the receivers get healthy. You get Jaden Reed coming back soon. So that's where that sits. Now, on the other side of the ball, Minnesota, this J.J. McCarthy experiment is going poorly. I mean, they let go Daniel Jones, they let go Sam Darnold, and they put a lot of draft capital in J.J. McCarthy, obviously. It's not panning out. I said they should have picked up if they were going to not keep one of those other two quarterbacks, they should have went like an Aaron Rodgers type situation because their offense is ready to go. Plug and play. They got 2 top-end receivers. They got a tight end that I think is better than he's playing in T.J. Hockenson. And they got Aaron Jones and a defense that is really well. Really, it's a good team. But J.J. McCarthy is not good right now. He's coming off of last year's injury, and it's been rough.
He looked good for 3 minutes this past week, and the rest of the other 57 minutes of the game, he was not there.
In Lambeau, forget about it, okay? Forget about it. The skulls are not going to be coming out. Bottom line, it's pretty much going to be close to an elimination situation from the playoffs for the Vikings. Will they have hope yet if they lose this game? A tinge. But that's all they're going to have because the Vikings are going to lose this game and they're going to lose it by double digits. I know a bunch of you are going to go against me in this one because I can't seem to pick the Packers right even when it's a half point and they've been disappointed against the spread this year. I totally get that. But if you feel comfortable to go against Green Bay at Lambeau against J.J. McCarthy and this Minnesota team, you're crazy. We're going to go with the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, with or without Josh Jacobs, are going to get it done at home at Lambeau. Boom.
That brings us to our first Sunday morning game matchup of the week. Not an evening game or a Monday night game. This is the Indianapolis Colts on the road at the 5-5 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are, look, they know we don't have a lot of love for the Chiefs in general, but how on earth are the Chiefs 3.5-point favorites at home after being 4-point favorites against the Broncos and losing, and their playoff hopes are just, they're shimmering. It's like Marty McFly is disappearing from the playoff picture.
Yeah, I mean, you had so many people predicting that they're going to beat the Broncos, no problem. I said, nope, not going to happen. The Broncos are going to have a good chance of upsetting, but the points, forget about it. 4 points was too much. We saw what happened there. We hit that one nicely. Now, Colts come into town, into Kansas City, back up against the wall. I figure the Chiefs can only lose about 2 more games out of the next 7 to have any playoff hopes. If it breaks the wrong way, 10 wins might not even get it done. The division is sailed, okay? The Chiefs are not winning the division. You can take that to the bank, okay? The Chiefs are done as far as any hopes of winning the division. As far as this game, Indianapolis Colts coming off a bye. Jonathan Taylor's been working hard. In my mind, he should be top MVP candidate right now. He had a nice week of rest, so that's well deserved. Tyler Warren, this offense, looking great. Michael Pittman, down the line. Daniel Jones has showed a few little flashes of why people didn't like Daniel Jones in New York. And that's a problem. But besides, in spite of that, this Colts team has still managed to win and play well. Daniel Jones, like I said, everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop on Daniel Jones. This game is so critical in Kansas City, backs up against a wall. This Chiefs team, this is a must-win situation for them. And one thing that didn't happen, they still can't run the ball. That's a problem. Their running game is non-existent. Their defense did not look good last week. And Patrick Mahomes just frankly wasn't making too many plays. They have the guys, they're healthy. Rashee Rice, everyone's like, Rashee Rice comes back. Worthy's healthy. All these guys are healthy, but we haven't seen that over the hump thing that everyone's hoping for out of Kansas City, or some people are saying he's going to turn the corner. They're sitting 5-5, about to be, once again, they're like number 8 in the playoff rankings, and they're this week away from being below 500, which is hard to imagine, right? This team can be resilient. We've seen it over and over again. And in this case, believe it or not, Chiefs at home, back against the wall. Patrick Mahomes is going to rise to the occasion. Chiefs, one way or another, are going to get it done. They're going to win by 7 points plus potentially. Take it to the bank. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs take it to the bank at home. They're going to actually step up. They're going to get the win. The home situation, playing at home, is going to be the difference against this Colts team that has been playing great in the domes. But at Kansas City, I think Daniel Jones has his troubles. I think the defense is not going to hold down Jonathan Taylor. He's going to eat. But this Kansas City offense is going to do enough to get the win and at least cover the 3.5 points. Boom.
All right, let's move on to the afternoon. We got 4 games, some with potential implications. The first one is the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinal season is effectively over. Jaguars are in the mix. They're some of the Jaguars of a couple of years ago, too, where you kind of just don't think about them, but they're always there. But they're good, they're bad, they're good, they're bad. In this case, Vegas thinks they're good enough by 2.5 points to have to cover. So minus 2.5 Jags on the road in Glendale, Arizona.
Will the real Jaguars team please stand up? I mean, they beat the brakes off the Chargers. Like, what happened to the Chargers? I still believe that the Chargers, my buddy Sam says I overvalue the Broncos and the Chargers. I think the Chargers and the Broncos on both sides of the ball, with good head coaches as well, are what their records show they are. So what happened to the Chargers? They didn't show up. Justin Herbert did nothing. From a fantasy standpoint, he had like 3 points. None of it makes any sense. Like, what Jacksonville team is this? I'm literally confused. They didn't have their number 1 wide receiver standout. He was out for injury. You have a situation where Travis Etienne just beasted out and had a great game. His stats were outstanding. And Trevor Lawrence actually looked pretty good. He did enough. He didn't make the mistakes he does in the past. And this defense was outstanding, which Jacksonville does have a solid defense. We saw it against Kansas City, but then we saw Jacksonville look so bad in other matchups. And now against Arizona, against a Jacoby Brissett, who record-breaking 47 completions, not 47 passes.
Oh, I saw that. Yes,
47 completions
with at least
400 some yards, ton of yards, and they fell short and still lost with that kind of game. And it looks like right now Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to play again this week, most likely, with his appendix removed. So I don't think that they're going to get the same production out of Michael Wilson, their wide receiver one at the moment. They lost DeMarcado to an injury. He'll be out. So they're thin at running back. They're thin at receiver. They have Trey McBride. He's a stud tight end that keeps making magic happen. They're in Arizona. Jacksonville on the road, going East Coast to West Coast. 2.5-point favorites. Which Jacksonville team's going to show up? I'll tell you right now which team's going to show up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to show up. They're going to win this game convincingly. 2.5 points. Take it to the bank. Not a problem. Easy peasy. Boom.
I look over a lot because I try and tell them, we have mics right here. You can keep it down a bit. Popping my mics over there. All right. We got the Dog Pound versus Raider Nation. The Cleveland Browns on the road here in Las Vegas. Hey, good for the Raiders. They're 3-point favorites at home. Let's just get through that. Oh, actually, I want to say, I just saw it before we started. I saw an Instagram post of like a fan this week when they were down by 20 and the Raiders finally scored and they were going crazy. And I'm like, it's like our good friend Mike Hibble says, like, you watch these players, the teams are down by 27 points and the defense that's losing sacks the quarterback and gets up like, oh,
yep.
Like, get some points on the board first and then celebrate.
I don't know how many you watched that mess of a Raider game against the Cowboys. They look terrible. The Cowboys look good. But holy man, this Raider team, I mean, they got Brock Bowers, who's a top 3 tight end in the entire league. They got Austin Gentry, that's solid. But unfortunately, Geno Smith, not so much. Mason Crosby, it's just a bummer, man. The guy is just all heart, a beast, so talented, a game changer, and he's dying on the vine in Las Vegas. He wants to stay a Raider, but frustrations are getting high. Pete Carroll, he's in an unusual circumstance. This man is not used to losing like this. This guy breeds winning. I mean, he won in Seattle. He did not come here to expect this to happen, but this Raider team has to change its culture. They brought in Tom Brady as a minority owner to try to change the culture in Las Vegas. But
they already were cheating. The Raiders already were cheating. I need Tom Brady for that.
And right now, it's not working. Right now, the Raiders are falling short in a worse way. Now you got Cleveland coming in town. And with the Raiders favored by 3, that tells you what Las Vegas thinks of Cleveland and what they think about Shedeur Sanders, because he's going to get the start most likely. Dylan Gabriel's not going to probably play this one. So Shedeur's going to have a full week of prep. And prime time's going to be coming to Las Vegas. And we'll find out once and for all against this Raider team that's just, struggles and gets torched by most teams. What's going to happen when it's Shedeur Sanders in the City of Lights?
How many Max Crosby sacks? Over, under 1.5?
Max Crosby, I'm going to go with over 1.5. I think that this Raider team is going to put a lot of pressure on him. He's going to scramble. He's going to make some plays, but this Cleveland team, they just don't have it, and Shedeur Sanders is not going to be the answer in this one. The Raiders get a win that probably no one wants them to get because they want them to get a top draft pick. But the Raiders, -3, are going to get it done at home. Boom.
All right, and 125. Hey, welcome back, Kirk Cousins. You got a chance. You got another chance to make up for that last debacle. Atlanta Falcons are on the road at the New Orleans Saints. And I love this. The Saints are 1.5-point favorites at home. Another team, the Saints don't need 3 wins. They need to not...
I've been on this Falcons team all year, and they've just disappointed.
Yeah.
They have so much talent and
but they can beat the Bills.
Potential. They beat the Bills, but they can't, they lose 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's just, they had this game against Carolina at home. It was there for the taking, and they blew it late, went to overtime, and lost. Just painful one for us. That was a bank pick. and unfortunately it fell short. Now you're looking at going to New Orleans. Drake London's going to be out. Michael Penix is on IR, probably done for the year. In comes Kirk Cousins. This is Kirk Cousins' last stand pretty much. Will he have a starting role in the NFL again? I don't know. We'll find out. But you got Darnell Mooney is now the wide receiver one in the team. The one bright spot is Bijan Robinson. Super talented running back. He's going to have to carry the load. He's going to have to carry the load because Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. He's in the twilight of his career. He still has a good arm. He's still capable. He's a leader and has a ton of heart, but heart doesn't necessarily win ball games. This defense is really going to have to step up. Now you got a situation where another team that doesn't really want to win any football games, the New Orleans Saints. Okay, they traded away Rashid Shaheed, so basically waving a white flag and trying to rebuild for the future. They also have a rookie quarterback. They have a rookie quarterback that's playing in this game, and they have an Alvin Kamara who is traditionally a big name that does well, but he's not had such a good year this year overall. Chris Olave's been solid. He's putting up great stats. This Saints team, 1.5 point favorites. Would you have thought the Saints would be 1.5 point favorites like 4 or 5 weeks ago in this game? No, heck no. And guess what? I don't think they still should be. They should not be 1.5 point favorites. We're going to go one more time. I'm going to die with the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons plus 1.5 on the road are going to do enough because, frankly, the Saints are just that bad. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to dig deep. And I think maybe Kyle Pitts is going to actually have a decent game. And Bijan is going to run wild. And that's going to be the difference. Kirk Cousins is going to be running around happy. They're going to get the win. Take Atlanta, plus 1.5 on the road. Division battle.
Usually by Halloween, We've had our graveyard scene with the teams that are dead to you. And perennial dead team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like this week the Bengals and the Falcons don't come through. They're going in the dead to you pile.
Yeah.
But let's wrap up the last game of the afternoon games. Keep in mind, any hand gestures here do have to go superimposed over graphics and don't pop the mic. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the road for their divisional matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. As we mentioned, the Cowboys did manage to crush the Raiders, but like most teams this season, that's the common trend. The Eagles, 3.5 point favorites in Dallas.
Eagles offensive struggles the last 2 weeks. Saquon Barkley can't seem to get over that 60-yard hump.
Because I drafted him this year in my other fantasy league. I'm sorry.
I thought he was going to regress. A lot of people did from a fantasy standpoint, and he has. And it hasn't been because Jalen Hurts has been taking all the tush-push touchdowns either. But, I mean, this is wild. This Eagle team, A.J. Brown, got a few passes thrown to him, but this offense is definitely anemic in Philadelphia. But they're winning. That's all that matters, right? They're winning. I mean, they're the number one seed. They're top of the hill. Their defense is playing well. Their coach continues to make bad play calls at the end. I mean, he literally should not have done what he did, and he gave Detroit hope. And Detroit still failed. So you got to give them credit for creating the 0-5 on fourth down when Dan Campbell, he's crazy. He's a maniac when it comes to fourth down plays, but he usually converts more than he doesn't. I mean, that's been his MO. He 0 for 5. So this Philly team going into Dallas. Now, Dallas, here's the key here. George Pickens is looking like a steal at a third-round draft pick. An absolute steal. The problem is Dallas going to be able to pay him next year because he's a free agent after this year, and he's going to get paid. And he deserves it. He brings the baggage off the field. That's why Pittsburgh tossed him out. And he looked great last night. I mean, George Pickens put up monster stats, almost cost us in fantasy. We had like a 38-point lead or 39-point lead, and there he goes. First half, he puts up 20. And I'm like, really? Like, come on. CeeDee Lamb looks great. Both players sat out the first drive. So they were benched. So there was some sort of issue, some sort of message being sent by the coach. And message received because Dallas responded all around. Their defense, making a couple big, before the trade deadline ended, acquiring a linebacker from Cincinnati and a defensive tackle from the Jets. They look good on defense too. Now, granted, it was against the Raiders. so we take the other grain of salt. But they're back in the hunt. They're ways away yet, but this game is a huge game for them. In Dallas, division battle, the week before the big Thanksgiving game in Dallas. And the Cowboys are going to be up for it. We're going to take the Cowboys home dogs plus 3.5. I like too many points. I think that for sure they're going to cover the points and they're going to stay within the 3.5. But I do want to say upset alert. I think the Eagles, unless they correct their woes in this game, this Dallas defense seemed to have kind of hopefully figured it out a little bit. But that offense has a ton of potential. So we're going to see a battle between a really good offense and a defense that's been shutting down Detroit and Green Bay. Battle of Titans, taking the Cowboys at home, plus 3.5. Boom.
And just because Jason just mentioned it, Thursday games are coming up for Thanksgiving really quick, just a week and a half away, and we will be doing our annual, now 3 years in a row, a live stream of the 2 morning games. We'll be watching along with you, just talking, chatting with people, doing a little color play-by-play and just answering questions in the chat. We know it's Thanksgiving. It's kind of crazy to do it, but we're going to be watching the games anyway. And we figure, hey, if you're cooking in the kitchen, getting some early snacks in, and you want to have some noise in the background and interact with us live, that's your opportunity. It's starting about 15 minutes before kickoff on the Thanksgiving game. So thank you guys for watching, and welcome again to all our new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's really easy and it's free. Just click subscribe down below and make sure you hit the bell icon to be notified. I think that's what all the kids say on their YouTubes. Enough of that. Let's go into Thursday nights. I'm stuck in Thursday now. Let's go into Sunday night's game. 2 teams that neither team wants to lose this. That's for certain. Tampa Bay Buccaneers sail on the road. See what I did there? To the Los Angeles Rams. Rams at home are 6.5-point favorites. Bucs have to win this. Rams want to win this.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams are playing outstanding football as we see right now. Matt Stafford is looking great, and he's one of the candidates right up there with Jonathan Taylor for MVP.
You just don't hear much about his name, though. You don't ever hear his name thrown in as often. It's,
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy that's a veteran that's been in the league a long time, and he's having a great year. And why shouldn't he? He's got Devontae Adams playing good football. He's got Puka Nacua. This team is firing on all cylinders. Their defense looks good. Sean McVay has them playing football really well. Tampa Bay on the other side, it's been the Baker show, okay? He's been hampered by injuries. They're down their, 2 stud receivers, but lucky for them, rookie Emeka Mbuka has come up huge, just having big game after big game after big game. And for fantasy owners, they're super happy. This Tampa Bay fan base is happy. Bucky Irvin, will they get him back in the field this week? It was looking like he wasn't going to come back. Then maybe this week he had hope, or this last week he had hope, but he didn't make it. Now, will Bucky Irvin be back this week? They got a serviceable running back in Rachaad White, but really, the guy that came through big in Buffalo was Sean Tucker, the 3rd-string running back. That guy was unstoppable. Put up a huge stat line, had a big touchdown or 2, whatever it was. Looked great. So they do need Bucky Irvin back. They could use Chris Godwin back so they can add to their wide receiver core that's struggling. Now they're going to be on the road, East Coast to West Coast, against a Rams team that's firing all cylinders. Tampa, back-to-back road games. Not ideal. Not ideal to have to go Buffalo and then travel to LA. That's a situation that is going to be problematic for this team, and I think it's going to be the difference maker in this one. 6.5 points seems like a lot of points, being that Tampa Bay's been so solid. Tampa's going to fall short. We're going to take the Rams minus 6.5 to get it done. Boom.
And our last Monday night football game before Thanksgiving, it is the Carolina Panthers on the road against the 49ers. 49ers got Brock Purdy back. Purdy remembered they had George Kittle on the team. And the 49ers looked good this past week. No disrespect to Matt Jones, but it looks like Purdy was ready to go. In this case, the 49ers are presently 6.5-point favorites at home.
I just want to point out the Carolina Panthers have a better record than the Kansas City Chiefs. If you could have made that prop bet at the beginning of the year, what do you think the payout would have been? Week 12, I'm taking the Carolina Panthers have a better record than the Chiefs. What is that, like plus $1 million? I mean, that is like insane. And that's where we are. Is it possible we've been sleeping on the Carolina Panthers? I mean, how many wins do they have to have before we say, hey, maybe they're doing something right?
I have a guess. Maybe like 6, 7?
Yeah,
wins?
I mean, at this point,
he's old. He doesn't get the joke. It's okay.
Oh my God! Did you just pull the 6,
I
7?
pulled the 6,
what are
7.
you, 12?
Well, no, I'm going on 13. My birthday's in December.
Oh my gosh!
I'm a big boy now.
I mean, they have 6 wins, and maybe that Green Bay loss wasn't such a big loss, seeing as how they've been, they beat Atlanta twice, which maybe that's not saying much, but they're looking good. Bryce Young, I mean, it's not every day he throws for 400 plus yards and has a great game. The rookie wide receiver for them stepped up huge, and I'm going to Tetrarona McMillan, whatever the heck it is. That guy was a monster in that game. But Carolina, I'm sorry, you're traveling on the road to San Francisco. Ricky Parasol's back. He didn't contribute much, but he's back. Jennings, Christian McCaffrey is like the Swiss Army knife of all time. I mean, he does it all. Purdy's back. They're at home. Kyle Shanahan. This situation seems tricky to me. 6.5 points does not feel like enough, but at the same time, this Carolina team's playing so well. I just don't think they can sustain it. And based on that, the San Francisco team at home with Kittle firing, they're healthy, Purdy's back, the whole kit and caboodle, Monday Night Football, San Fran's going to say, hey, remember us. It's not just Seattle. It's not just the Rams. We're here to play and compete to win a division, and they will do that in Monday Night Football. Take the San Francisco 49ers, minus 6.5 to get it done, to end out our week. We're going to have a great week this week. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Boom.
So you missed a good joke there. You said the 49ers should have been the whole Kittle caboodle.
Oh my God.
I'm here all week.
Oh boy.
Luckily, I won't be on the camera after this. All right, guys, that's week 12. We're hoping for a better week this week. We got some home dogs for you. We got a bunch of stuff going on, a few interesting matchups, and I think we're going to see a lot of things shake out this week that will define the remaining 6 or 7 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks of the season.
7 weeks.
7 weeks. Well, I said 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
And especially what happens here in the AFC with the Colts and the Chiefs, and where your division, the NFC North, is going to shake out with these games this week. So that'll lead us to a short week with the Cowboys playing on Thursday. And again, we'll be here for that live streaming. Hope you'll tune in. The bumper for it should go up on YouTube soon, so you won't forget. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's all my nonsense. Tell them goodbye.
All right, until then, guys, we'll see you next week for a happy Thanksgiving. Take it to the bank.
Gobble, gobble.
Boom.